there was talk about, the trauma. Is it necessary? Does it need to be done? Yes, because you know what? I want him to. I wanted it to be a nice looking designer peepee instead of that snuffleupagus looking thing that it is.
The only reason I went along with it was because what could be worse than teenage circumcision?
Oh, yeah. There's a point. It's like after a certain age, they're not going to fix a dog. It's the same thing. Yeah. Hello, 17-year-old son. Sorry we didn't get to this earlier. It's not like my family who didn't bother to get me baptized until I was in junior high. It's just a slightly different problem.
Hey, teacher, I need to be excused from homework this weekend because I'm going to be recovering from,
What do you mean you can't come to baseball practice? Coach, I can't wear a cup right now. I can't.
I remember when you had your vasectomy, Justin, and I remember...
Whoa, okay? This is getting personal, okay?
I was just going to ask because I'm not...
One's on the inside,
I'm not
one's on the
snipped,
outside.
and everybody's like, why are you not snipped? And I'm like, well, because I don't know, maybe I'll have another kid someday. I don't know. Well,
I'm sorry.
It's always nice to have the option.
Todd, you just got your AARP card. You're not going to have another kid.
Don't kill his dream, woman. Damn
I'm
it.
still quite
Let the man
virile.
dream. Yeah. I want to get a count. I want an over-under on the count. We need a sample. We need somebody to analyze it. I want to know just how virile this man is. He claims that he could be making babies at an incredible clip.
If I were to do it, though, it would be the weekend that the NCAA men's basketball tournament starts. March Madness begins on Thursday, runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if I'm going to lay on the couch with a bag of frozen peas on my midsection, at least I got 48 basketball games to watch.
Fair. Justin, you failed. You did not choose wisely in the timing.
I don't even remember the timing I did. You know what the timing was? It was, shit, what do you mean we're having a third kid? All right, fuck that. I'm getting fixed. What were we thinking? My only problem with the date is that I did not do it sooner. What?
Wouldn't take her back? I don't know.
Don't get
Say
me wrong.
nice.
She's the smartest one out of the three. She will probably go on to do great things. But they could also, by great, I mean, like, run a fucking organized crime syndicate. That's from jail where she's ordering hits on people.
Proud dad moment.
I'm very proud.
Welcome to Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K. and Todd, where no sport is off limits. No job is off limits, and no body part is off limits, either inside or outside. Gross. So here's today's topic: the most amazing sports moment in sports that you have witnessed in person. I am a Detroit fan, however, and there's not many to count, and I've lived in England for the last 8 years, so none for me.
Well, I do remember a time when the Detroit Red Wings were a dynasty.
And in the 90s, and my parents didn't care about sports and never took me to any of them. My cousins were very much a part of that and lived that life. And I'm really resentful that and angry that I was not a part of that, if I'm honest. I'm really sad.
What about the Detroit Pistons? They were good that 1 year. The guy with the
Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace, he was
awesome. Yes, so I did go to Detroit Pistons games in like 2004 that season, which that was the good season and that was fun, but I went to a Celtics Detroit game, and that one I was courtside, which was awesome, incredible. That was like one of the greatest sports experiences. But again, it was basketball and my least favorite sport, so it's like meh. So I'm not really sure. But I did do some research on some of the craziest sports moments throughout history, and so we'll get into some of those. But before we get into the debate, Todd, latest news, please.
I went to the printer first this time. And I still need my fucking cheaters. That's the only reason I printed out, because never mind. This is in Sports story out of high school. Basketball player down in California had a night on the hardwood that most kids his age could only dream about, pulling off on the couch with their Xbox. Nick Katshikian scored 102 points in 22 minutes of playing time, leading his school to a 119-25 victory. Nick made 48 out of his 60 shots, had help from his brother who was on the team, who assisted 35 of those 48 buckets, earning him a state record as well. He also had 15 rebounds and 13 steals to round out the triple-double. Here's my impression of Nick Katshikian's teammates at halftime. Hey, Nick, I'm open.
Hey, Nick's brother, we get it. You're his brother. Pass me the fucking ball every once in a while. Because that's 102 out of 119 total. Think about that. Like, nobody else shot the ball.
Wow.
Here's my impression of the opposing team. What high school was it? Waverly High School, Pasadena. Here's my impression of the opposing team's coach at halftime. Hey, guys, who's got Nick?
I love it. That was great. That was a great one, Todd.
I think they should have switched to maybe a zone defense or something there, Todd.
At what point does the mercy rule, like as a player or a coach, you're like,
let's just call it.
I think there was a mercy rule because you said it was 22 minutes. He scored 102 points. My guess is after he crossed the triple digit, they let him put one more in. They're like, go sit down. We'll just play the rest of this game without you. And the rest of his team was able to put up another like 17 points while the other team managed to put up 25.
And second story, whether you love them or hate them, you have to admit that fans of the Buffalo Bills, Kay, what do they call the Bills fans? Justin, don't answer.
Billiards. Billman.
Justin, what's the answer?
Bills Mafia.
Correct. Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia in Buffalo. Yeah, okay.
Mafia. They are.
Have you seen what goes down in the parking lot before Bills game?
I was going to get to that.
I thought they were all nice people. Am I wrong?
Actually, they have hearts of gold, which is the good segue into this. Keep in mind that before Todd tells this story, Bills Mafia fans of doing things like climbing up on the top of a car and then leaping and smashing through a folding table. Or there's a guy that walks through a crowd of people. They all have squirt bottles of ketchup and mustard, and they cover this guy in ketchup and mustard as a pregame ritual before they walk into the stadium.
That's cute. That's not angry. That's cute and adorable and fun.
All right, Kay, you're the one we cover in ketchup and mustard then.
And they're clearly bored because they live in Buffalo, New York.
You are.
Well, I just think they drink a lot, to be honest. And this is what
They're whipped cream tits. We're still waiting for that. And then we'll let Kay douse herself like the movie Carrie. Instead of pig's blood, we'll put her under a Heinz thing and she can...
The condiment dispenser at the Burger King.
Bills fans, unique. But one thing, they are kind. They raise money for charities at a pretty good clip. And most recently, Bills fans helped to raise $80,000 for diabetes research to support an opposing team's player. Baltimore Raven tight end Mark Andrews dropped a big pass during the playoff game that those two teams had. Andrews was getting, beat up, criticized, death threats. So the Bills fans stepped up with a charity campaign in his name on his behalf for his favorite charity and raised $80,000. Now, like Justin mentioned, most people know tailgating Bills fans sometimes break tables in the part. They do the WWE. It's crazy.
But at least they're breaking tables. They're not breaking cars and people's bones.
True.
Oh, I think they tussle. I do think they like to get a little rowdy. I think the smashing of the tables is just to add to the ambiance of it all.
I think you like to get a little rowdy. We're not judging you.
But this was new to me. It says little known fact, and it was not known to me. There are apparently fans for the Buffalo Bills who like to go fishing. They will catch a fish, show the highlight, catch and release, and they reel it in, and they show it to the camera. But before they release it back out into the wild, they literally show the fish Josh Allen highlights.
Listen, they know full well that this fish will never be able to go to the stadium, never get to see Josh Allen in person, and there's not even a TV down there. So their only chance to ever see one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, especially if you're a Bills fan, is through the lens of this camera that I'm going to show you these highlights. Now, swim away and tell your friends.
I want to adopt that so badly. That is glorious.
I love that. What a two great little bits of news, Todd. Thank you for spreading the wealth to all of us. Oh my goodness, that's so great.
I feel like now every time we catch a fish, we should be learning them things. Like we should maybe we start showing them, like start with like ABC books and flashcards. Who knows? Maybe fish are smarter than we give them credit for.
Let's see who can make the smartest fish.
That's right.
I like this. What would you teach your fish?
How to fry itself. That would be nice. Clean and
How
fry
to fillet itself.
Yeah, because that's your fish. Your hands.
How to bone itself. That's all.
Yeah.
Bone itself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In more ways than one.
Hey, let's keep this family friendly, okay?
We were already talking about circumcision, vasectomies, and now boning fish.
And while you are boning a fish, now I'm throttling a largemouth bass in the mouth, and it's like it's this little like tickle in the back of its throat. It's like, this is revenge for when those little fucking Y bones were stuck in the feet in the fillet. I thought I had carved you all up, but no, a couple of you were still in there, and now they're stuck in the back of my throat. Now you know how it feels like, fish.
That's what you would teach your fish how to do. You would teach it how to give you a blowjob. That's so fucked.
There are blowfish.
Indeed there are. And how do you think they got that name, Kay? Big Mouth Billy Blowfish. Come back up.
Oh my! Oh, imagine if you got a largemouth bass and a blowfish and you meshed them together and you made, yeah.
To be fair, a smallmouth bass would work just fine for me. But
all right, fair enough.
But you're circumcised, so it all evens out.
Oh God.
Hey, fishing's a sport. This totally counts as in the tent of sweat socks and all that sauce. Conversation topics.
I agree. Right. So, most amazing sports event that you have witnessed. What do you guys have?
In person.
In person.
I mean, you had to be there.
You had to be present, right? Justin, I think you know what mine's going to be, but I have a couple that are very close seconds. Very close seconds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But would you care to start, or do you want me to start with my...
I've got, a lot of mine revolve around, there's like two I would just want to point out. One of them was involved in the 1987 World Series, one Minnesota Twins. When this is before the interwebs, so my mom and my aunt went and camped out at Metrodome to get us tickets to all of the World Series home games, and I got to go to a couple of them. And in Game 6 of the 1987 World Series, I was there and got to see my then hero Kent Hrbek hit a grand slam in Game 6. So they defeated the Cardinals, was like 11-5, and got to go to Game 7, and I got to see that. I also, in that game, I believe, saw Dan, the Dazzleman Gladden, make a catch up on the plexiglass. It was just an incredible time to be alive.
Oh, I love that.
I would try.
And you remember it, like plain as day, being
yesterday.
There. Oh, I love that so much.
5 years off of my life for that experience, Justin. I shit you not.
I understand. I'd also like to point out that I believe it was 2007. This is my also ran. In 2007, it was the San Diego Chargers were at Metrodome to play the Minnesota Vikings. And this guy, you might have heard of him, his name is Adrian Peterson. He rushed for 297 yards that day.
That's the record.
Yeah, it's the record for most yards in a single game. And me and my buddy bought tickets off a scalper cheap, like right before kickoff to get in there. And honest to God, they were obstructed view, but I mean, like there was a pillar like in front of my seat, like as wide as so like to watch the game, I had to lean around the pillar this way or that way. So there was moments where I couldn't see what AP was doing because he was behind the pillar. Then all of a sudden he'd get past the pillar and just scamper down the sideline.
It's like a game in and of itself.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
If the field were longer, he would have got 1,000,000 yards that day. He just could not be tackled.
All day AP, man. And that was still Metrodome,
That's a
right?
good one.
That was still Metrodome. Yep.
Wow. That's a good one. You have great ones. Well done.
Oh, and those are just my top two. I could go for years. Got others, but I want to hear what Todd says besides what I know is going to be his number one.
Yes. Second, this would normally be number one. First time the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl playing Colin Kaepernick, San Francisco 49ers. It's a 3-point game. Niners have the ball. They're coming down to our end, Justin, where you just sat, that end of the end zone. Kaepernick hadn't tested Richard Sherman all day. Michael Crabtree, one of the top receivers at the time, finally says, fuck it. We're going to win it all, Jim Harbaugh, rat bastard. And he hoists it up, and Sherman goes up, and the one time they threw his way, tip, picked off. Seahawks go to the Super Bowl. Eat a dick, Jim Harbaugh.
And I think that's basically what Richard Sherman said in that interview after the game, didn't
You
he?
come at me with a sorry-ass receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Aaron Andrews like,
That he knows exactly what was said.
That was a really good Richard Sherman impression. I mean, it was bracing.
Well done, Todd.
that would have been one. Number two wasn't a specific moment. It is the most redonkulous game I've ever witnessed in my life, and it will warm both of your hearts, NFC Central, now NFC North fans. The NFC Championship game when my Seattle Seahawks were down 19 or 16 to nothing and ended up winning that game in overtime. With a series of the most improbable, including an onside fucking kick, most improbable plays. They had turned the ball over with 3.5 minutes left to play in the game. They were down 19-7. Did not have the ball. 3.5 minutes to play. Fuck all. We went to the Super Bowl.
And it was the Green Bay Packers who collapsed in the most epic fashion. To this day, I will still say, when people say, what's your favorite memory as a Vikings fan? I say, the NFC Championship game where the Seahawks came from behind and beat the Packers. Never had more fun watching a football game.
And I was there, and that, when you're at a sporting event and your team wins or does well, you high-five the people around you. Motherfuckers were running up and down. We're dry humping people. We're just like, oh my God, this is so glorious, man.
Note to self: don't go to a sports event with Todd. You're gonna get dry humped.
Lucky there weren't any fish there. Todd would have.
I preface with that I'm circumcised, so
It's okay. I'm circumcised. Dry hump
God.
away, sir.
but that isn't.
You know what?
Go ahead, Gabe.
Nothing. It's just about circumcision, and we don't need to keep going down this fucking rabbit
I
hole.
like callbacks. Maybe that's the stand-up meme. But, but the best ever. Another Seahawks game. I think it's in NFL lore. If you're a football fan for any length of time, NFL fan, you have heard of the Beast Quake. Marshawn Lynch, Sean.
And you were. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold the phone. You were there
Absolutely.
for this.
Absolutely.
You shut your dirty whore mouth.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I sent you the video of my buddy, Charlie Mack.
I didn't know that was you. I did not know that was you. I had no idea.
That, Justin, you just sat where I have had my season tickets for going on 20 years now. And so you could tell that was the view of which we witnessed the game. And that came right at us. And I mean, it is arguably one of the 10 greatest runs in the history of the National Football League.
Top 3.
Right. And
So here's the details. The underdog Seattle Seahawks held a 34-30 edge on the New Orleans Saints late in the fourth quarter. On second down, Marshawn Lynch took a handoff up the middle. He bounced off a tackle, escaped a swipe, and moved through 2 diving Saints. Lynch took another player, stiff-armed a sixth, evaded a seventh, and mini-hurdled an eighth defender to score a truly jaw-dropping 67-yard touchdown. What the
If you're a
fuck?
sports fan at all, you've seen this
Against
highlight.
the
I mean,
defending Super Bowl champions, the Seahawks made the playoffs. Kay, you and I were talking about this, how the seeding system's bullshit. The Seahawks that year were 7-9, had no business being in the playoffs. They were playing the defending Super Bowl champs at home. Nobody gave Seattle a chance. They were like 13-point underdogs. We had the lead, and they hand the ball to beast mode, and they call it the beast quake for good reason. It literally registered on the University of Washington seismographs. The fans we were going so ape shit that the stadium rocked.
To be a part of something like that has just, I think I would like actually, I don't know, wet myself. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't think.
We were all just like, can you believe that? But
wow.
Did you know when like what we just saw will be something that people talk about for generations? I mean, legitimately, that highlight gets played every year. I'm sure the NFL Network plays it possibly every day. It's one of the greatest plays ever in the history of the NFL. I would have gave myself a Skittles M&M after that, Todd. I would have sold it.
right. So that is my top moment.
Incredible. I love the fact that you were actually there. When you sent that video to our WhatsApp group, I was like, yeah, I know about this one. I know about this one. Yeah, I see the excitement. I had no idea that you were actually there.
Well, in that video you saw, because you always see what the network, cameras caught. But that was a fan caught video. From basically my perspective, and you saw, all the hands and people just losing their ever-loving minds, and that's what it's like. And that is where I'm like, okay, the internet, social media mostly sucks, but this is the reason why YouTube was invented. This is the exact reason why YouTube was invented.
So good. That's so great. I
also
love that.
enjoyed the crotch grab as he reverse leaped into the end zone. Really, the icing on the cake, the bow on the package. It really
diving into the end zone, backward, grabbing his ball sacks.
He'd be fined for that shit now. Jesus Christ. I'm so sick of this fining people for their celebratory dances when they get a touchdown.
Oh, he made a finger gun. What do you do when you're 4 years old, Justin? You play cowboys and Indians and cops and robbers with a stick in your finger, and you make a finger gun.
Pew, pew, pew.
I was too busy showing fish clips of
2-minute Tommy
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
You were showing Tommy Kramer videos.
What about I was looking up some pretty epic bits, and what about Derek Jeter's The Dive from summer of 2004? I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm not a Jeter fan either. Nah. But so this one was in the 8th inning of the decisive Game 5 against the Oakland Athletics in 2001. Jeter tackled a foul ball by Long toward the left field stands. He caught the ball, flipped over the wall, and crashed into the stadium seats, but caught it. New York finished off a 5-3 victory to eliminate the A's, and the Yanks eventually lost to Arizona in the World Series. But what that must have felt incredible to those fans who were there to witness that.
Have you ever?
Justin's
You've been to a lot of baseball games. Have you ever had a guy tumble in to the stands trying to make a play in your vicinity?
No.
Not in my vicinity. I've seen it. But
I've never gotten to grope. a professional athlete.
That's why they put the netting up. It's not because of Aaron foul balls hitting kids in the face. It's because Kay was groping too many baseball players.
And that's not even Jeter's greatest play, the flip. Where he tagged Jeremy Giambi out. Mm-hmm. Slide, Jeremy.
And that was in the same series, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
What about Game 7 of the 2016 World Series? Few organizations are more recognizable than the Chicago Cubs. They just could never win it all. After celebrating back-to-back World Series in 1907 and 1908, the Cubs entered a massive drought. They reached MLB's championship round in 1910, 1918, 1929, 1932, 1935, 1938, and 1945, but lost every single time. And they struggled to make the postseason for 25 plus years. And I think, as a Detroit fan, that I'm cursed. That team is cursed. Finally, a mere 108 years later, the Cubs won the World Series. To be there must have been orgasmic, for lack of a better term.
Todd knows people who were there.
I do. I'm trying to get on this show. Comedian Craig Gass. He was there, and he happened to be sitting one seat directly in front of Bill Murray, your boy, Justin.
Yes.
Literally, the seat in front of him, and Bill Murray is a humongous, massive Chicago Cubs fan. Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, John Cusack, my wife's hall pass. They're all these massive Cub fans. Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine, massive Cub fans. He has a T-shirt that literally says, "The best day in the history of the world was a Wednesday in Cleveland," because that game actually happened in Cleveland and not in Chicago when they won it.
God, imagine if it did happen in Chicago, though. I think the city would have burned to the ground.
There would not be a Chicago anymore.
Exactly.
It's not a south
It's a
side,
good thing.
or north
It's a
side
good
where
thing
the
it
Cubs are.
didn't. Yes, because there would not be a Chicago anymore.
Reaganville is a charming part of the world, but if they won a World Series, I could see it not being.
Yeah, fair. What about the 2008 Beijing Olympics? What do you remember happening there?
Oh boy.
Smog?
Bob Costas got pink eye.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody farted on Bob Costas's pillow. Bare ass.
It's the Summer Olympics, right? Beijing 08. Flying Tomato. No, wasn't. Oh man, I don't know. I can't remember.
Not only did Team USA superstar become the first athlete to win 8 gold medals at a single Olympics, he set the world records in 4 individual swims and an Olympic mark in the 5th. Michael Phelps. Why are you making that face? That wasn't. I remember watching that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I like that we won. Swimming is just, swimming. It's just boring.
That was incredible what he pulled off. You cannot say that it wasn't.
I guess. I'm a pretty good swimmer, too.
Fuck off.
I'm just saying. Like when you watch like a really good hockey player or a really good football, baseball, basketball player, like there's this next level. Like, they have this finesse. They have this. And these swimmers, like, so your arms just go slightly faster than mine. Okay. That's it. That's swimming.
You know what? Let's throw you into a fucking pool and let's put you against Michael Phelps and have him smoke a bong before he goes in and let's see what happens.
Smoke one with him. Fine. Todd, give me some of your opiates. I'm about to go beat Michael Phelps. And I won't be all covered in fucking weird octopus hickeys like he was either.
You'd have less weight to carry because you're circumcised.
Yes, thank you. Wait, is Michael Phelps, is he swinging a snuffleupagus?
They shave all their body hair like cyclists. They shave all their body hair. It's kind of creepy, actually, after a while.
It's weird. I shaved my arms once because my friend was a swimmer, and so she did, and I was like, I'm very curious about this, and I shaved my arms, and it was the weirdest sensation.
Is that why your arms are so hairy now?
That's what they say.
Wow. I used to know, Justin, trauma.
Were you self-conscious about that at some point?
Yes, I used to be very much when I was a kid, and that's
I think you might have told me that story, so I'm sorry.
Yes, and that's part. Thank you. I'm gonna have to go back to therapy now. Thanks so much.
That's what they say. Once you start shaving it, it grows back more coarse. And
well, I did it one time. I didn't start shaving it. I did it one time because my friend did it, and she swam, and I was very self-conscious about the fact that I had these little tiny arms and lots of hair.
Yeah. I know you do it one time. That's why now I have to get my butthole Brazilian every other week. Out of control.
Thank you for reminding me. I need to make my waxing appointment.
Yes, very good. ASAP. You know what? It's funny, Kay. Your highlights here, best ever. None of them even hold a candle to like my 4th best sports memory.
Go for it.
I will. Thanksgiving. St. Paul Civic Center or Roy Wilkins Auditorium, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jimmy the Superfly Snuka is wrestling the Iron Sheik in a motherfucking cage match. I believe an Intercontinental Championship may or may not have been on the line. But let me just say that it looked dicey. The Iron Sheik was pulling out all of his old twisted moves that you would expect nothing less from that cheating bastard. And he almost had Jimmy in the camel clutch, but Jimmy got out. Next thing you know, Jimmy is on not the top turnbuckle, the top of the cage, and leapt for the world to see and landed on and ended the Iron Sheik and won that match. It was incredible.
Sounds it.
Justin, did you like pro wrestling better when it was they all still have a character to play, so right?
Yeah.
But they were actually more characters like the Iron Sheik. And who was the Nikolai Volkov? He was the Russian.
Yes, Boris Zukov. All the Russians, they were all bad. It was funny. It's like all the guys from Russia and Iron Sheik. He was from somewhere in the Middle East. They were all the bad guys. And then you had the guy Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I got a 2x4 and American flag. Oh! These were our heroes. So you just knew who the good guys were and who the bad guys were. Nowadays, they just go back and forth. Roddy Piper was always a fucking bad guy because he wore a kilt.
Right.
Just there was no question.
Piper. They turned him into a heel when he finally got to WWF. But I remember watching him in Yakima, and I loved him. It was called Big Time Wrestling, and it was on Sunday afternoons after NFL football was done. They would show the Pacific Northwest Wrestling Circuit, and that's when I loved Piper. Because he was a good guy. And then he got to WWE and they turned him into a heel. And I was like,
but he was one of the best heels.
But I saw Jimmy Superfly Snuka, your Minnesotan governor, the Body, Jesse the Body Ventura wrestled here, have his boa on, his shades on. Do you like wrestling better when they were comic book characters? They're all playing a character, but they were comic book characters. They were if you watch the old Batman TV series, Adam West, Walla Walla, Washington, with Cesar Romero and the Joker, and they were Burgess Meredith, Mickey. They were all comic book characters, not I'm the Rock. Do you smell what the Rock's cooking? He's awesome, Rocky Maivia. But they wore stupid clothes to kind of present and they would come in with the Iranian national anthem.
Boo! And they wave the Iranian flag, and you just knew that here comes Sergeant Slaughter, and he's going to take care of business for us. I wasn't patriotic at all until I started watching professional wrestling, now that you mention it.
It's very political, it sounds.
It is. I mean, here's the thing. Nowadays, you've got, The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, they're badass. Don't get me wrong. Right. But neither of them came from parts unknown. The Ultimate Warrior! I mean, are you kidding me? And I think there was 9 different Ultimate Warriors. They just, one's heart would explode from steroids, and they just, next up, you got long hair. Paint your face and get in there. I mean, it didn't matter. It was so cool. They had this mystique, this aura, and wrestlers today, they don't. It died with The Undertaker.
Are there any other moments that you guys have ever witnessed that you wanted to discuss?
Not really, but how about this, Kay? You've prefaced, probably haven't been able to witness a lot of greatness in your Detroit fandom. What's the biggest heartbreak or shittiest thing? Or we had it in the bag. Justin, I know you got a litany of that.
I'm sorry, do we need to talk about the Detroit Lions fucking season this year? Do we need to go back?
What happened? I wasn't keeping tabs. What happened?
You brought this up on purpose, Todd, just to get him fucking riled up, just to give me shit, and I'm not here for it.
I have mentioned that.
Listen.
What happened, Kay?
Shut up. You still owe me a whipped cream body.
Oh, you're getting it. You're getting it, baby. Don't you worry.
Good.
It's going to be far more satisfying than the Detroit Lions season.
You can give me shit the moment I get these videos and or photos of you in whipped cream, please.
I agreed to a photo. There was nowhere in the fine print did we say that there would be some kind of video documentation. I know you just want to use it for the socials, but by social, you just want to flick your bean while you're watching me slather whipped cream all over myself.
Yummy.
My circumcised self, by the way.
I need video evidence of you, like close-ups of you. So I can edit it all together, and then the end can be a photo. But I need to move.
And here's part of the challenge of it, Kay. How do you suggest I go about taking this photo? Because this has kept me up at night. Because here's the deal. Like, I do have like a full-length mirror, but that's going to be, then you're going to see like how like shoddy my bedroom is. I could like set up a timer, but then I have to worry about the whipped cream falling off before I get to my position. Or I could like ask one of my kids to hold the camera and take the picture. I just don't know which of these is the best option.
I think we should put this on our Instagram story and have people vote.
Thank you, please. We have Instagram?
Shut up. Yes, we have Instagram. We also have an email, and we've got 2 emails, you guys. Woo! We got 2 emails. Yeah, you won't go woohoo when you find out who they're from. One is from my dad. And it says, this quote, "Hey, sweeties, another hilarious podcast today." Oh, no, not sweeties, sweaties. Oh, bless him. He's called us sweaties.
James, you should be proud right now.
He called us sweaties. Oh, stop. I got it. Hey, sweaties. Here's a religious drinking joke.
Okay.
What happens when 4 Episcopalians get together?
Ooh, I can't wait to hear this punchline.
I don't know what.
You always find a 5th.
Oh.
And then it says, "Stay sweaty." I just love that I mixed up sweeties for sweaties, or sweaties for sweeties. I like that. And then we also got one from Doug Nordwall, who is, I think, our biggest fan besides my dad. He said, "Look, just because I don't email doesn't mean I don't listen. I listen to every episode, and very soon after they are published. Genuinely look forward to it every month, and I'm not a sports guy at all. Been listening since day 1. Doug Nordwall."
Oh man, Doug.
Thank you.
I think he's vying for top billing now as our biggest fan. I mean, him and James might have to duke it out for that. I like this weekly mailbag segment, by the way. Keep them coming so that we can read yours.
Yes, please. More emails at Sweatsocks. Wait, what's our email? sweatsockspodcast@gmail.com.
And hell, if you want to make it a regular event, like we go to the mailbag, like Jokes with James, and we get your dad's like joke of the day or joke of the week.
I like this. Dad, we need jokes every single week. Thank you. Doug, we need something.
Topic suggestion. If there's something that you would like us to try and tackle, absolutely.
And if anybody wants to cover themselves in whipped cream, take a picture and Photoshop my face onto it, that would be fine too.
That's not happening. We will not allow that. All right, Justin, to send us out, wise words of wisdom quickly, please.
Sometimes you get your eye on the ball and you get so excited about something and you kind of lose track of what's important. And that's what happened with Kay's team. I don't want to overanalyze what happened with
Oh, fuck off.
Kay? Please, can I have a moment?
I'm just gonna mute you. Fuck you.
There are times where we get excited about things and we maybe get a little ahead of ourselves. Like just assuming because a team that's built and was pretty good last year, showed some promise, would be better the next year. And maybe they're so smart that they're just outsmarting everybody. And maybe, you know what, they roll the dice and they just happen to have that hot hand when it matters. And you know, it's a 4th and 5 and they go for it and they get it. It's a 4th and 15 deep in their own zone and they fake punt and get it. But you know what? When it gets to the playoffs, things are different. And that is the problem when sometimes you get a little too far ahead of yourself. What really happened, and this is my analysis of the entire thing, it wasn't X's and O's. It wasn't, going for it on 4th or kicking a field goal when he should have scored a touchdown. It was that the Lions showed up and somebody, and I don't know who it was, Kay, somebody whispered in their ears, "You're the Detroit Lions." And they fucking listened. And all of a sudden remembered they are who we thought they were. They were still the Detroit Lions. And sadly, in true Lions fashion, not saying that they'll never get there again, but this was their year. And they got so far ahead of themselves, and they put everything, all the eggs into this basket. And their offensive and defensive coordinators and all those players that maybe were, on a year contract, were so great that all the other teams in the league wanted to take a little piece of that action. And so all the great pieces that you might have assembled for one season have now just left and moved. And they went through that window, which is now shut for probably the rest of our lifetime. It's a sad reality.
Thanks for joining Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K. and Todd. No, you're not allowed to fucking add anything. What?
Justin, was that cathartic for you, like being baptized and or circumcised?
At the same time.
Listen, Sam Darnold got you nowhere. I'm just going to say it.
You can no watch expectations for this season whatsoever. Just happy to enjoy the ride.
That's not true. Don't even fucking act. Don't
far ahead of myself.
Don't even act. I need to calm down. My child's asleep upstairs. I need to calm down. Don't you even fucking act like you did not fucking care this season.
Not that I didn't care. I'm just a diehard Vikings fan. Whatever happens,
asshole.
I'm just happy with the season.
Go get your whipped cream on, you fucking twit. If you want to chime in, feel free to send us an email at sweatsockspodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, fuck Justin.
Stay sweaty.
Stay sweeties. Stay sweeties.
Stay sweeties.
Stay sweeties. Stay sweeties. Sweat Socks and All That Sauce is hosted by Todd Lyons, Kay White, and Justin Michaels.
Our theme song made by Pat Leonards.
And the album artwork is by Mike Willis.